me, I would say I would have the power to heal the sick. Because I
people thought Camila and I were like into each other. And that made me so uncomfortable, like disgustingly uncomfortable, because I was queer, but she was not. And it made me feel like a predator, essentially. Because
it's invasive.
It made me feel like a predator because of the type of clips people would put together and the type of stories people would write and the type of stuff. I was always the aggressor, and I was always the one turning her, and I was always the one who was like the masculine energy in the scenario, and it made me very uncomfortable because that's not how I identify. And that's not to say that that's wrong to identify like that. Like, daddy, get your shit, you know what I mean? Like, do your thing. But I did not identify that way, and I also did not have that connection with her. Camila and I were just very good friends at that time. You know what I'm saying? And we respected each other. When each other would talk, we would look at each other. We had love for each other, like genuine friendship. You know what I'm saying? And in the Latinx culture, I don't know about you, but growing up, I was very affectionate with all of my friends. I was very, like, we would tell each other shit that, yeah, maybe you would think we were gay if you were listening over.
Yes.
But we weren't, you know what I'm saying? And that wasn't the interaction. So. Because of the type of clips people would put together and the type of stories people would write and the type of stuff, I was always the aggressor and I was always the one turning her, and I was always the one who was like the masculine energy in the scenario, and it made me very uncomfortable because that's not how I identify. And that's not to say that that's wrong to identify like that. Like, daddy, get your shit, you know what I mean? Like, do your thing. But I did not identify. And then, you know, her and I kind of drifted apart, not willingly on my part, but we drifted apart. And then she came back into my life and I was just like, I need to own this, you know? Like, of course she can't be with someone who doesn't want to be with her, really, you know? Like, that's traumatizing as someone who was really queer and was fluid in that and accepted that about herself. And I loved that about her, you know what I'm saying? That she was so self-assured in who she really was, and I really wanted to be like that, but I couldn't give that at the time, so I had to deal with the pain of losing her because of that, you know? And then she came back into my life and we had a very toxic relationship because neither one of us was healed enough to be together, but we loved each other so much, you know what I'm saying? So that happened when I was 18. She came back into my life when I was 18. I was on tour and in a hotel somewhere, and she called me and I hadn't heard from her in months, years, and I was like, oh my God. And so we talked, and then I was like so desesperada to have been with her that I didn't even give her time or me time to even know if this was what I wanted or what she wanted, but I was like, no, now we're gonna be together, right?
We're in it.
So exactly, so I went all in and was just like, we're gonna be in this relationship. And I remember my mom being like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she knew, but she also again, there was a lot of toxicity between this girl and I. This was not a healthy relationship. This was not anything that
she was looking out for you as your mom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is not something to romanticize what I went through, but also it was my story. It's how I got to